Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. The session for today is gonna be a quick one, hopefully. So I wanna get all these resolved today. So few migrations, name, status and so forth, and we want to be able to submit the response to the ticket from the administrative panel. And we almost have that done. We have the submit button that doesn't really do anything. Actually what it does, it tries to post to this route, but this route only accepts GET requests, so it'll just report that the route is not found, missing route. Surprisingly, I was expecting that my session would expire. Interesting. Okay, so let's start with migrations. Yeah, the session did expire. Yeah, so I guess it didn't. Yeah, it should go right. Yeah, because first the router needs to find the controller. Then in our initialize method of the controller, we initialize the authentication component, which in turn authenticates or rejects, and in which case we're redirected to login. So this is good. Let's log in again. I should probably extend the session slightly because it's default, and I think default is about 20 minutes, maybe 10. And also revival of the session from the cookie. That should be supported by the authentication component of Cake. But first, let's bake a cake. Let's bake migration, and we're just gonna call it because all the migrations will be in pretty much just one migration, right? Because that's going to be the initial deployment. And the initial deployment can also be provided as just database dump. That might be the route we'll take. But for now, just to not cause disruptions, I'll just create migrations as I go and just update those things. And then I will either consolidate it into one migration, because there's really no need for breaking it into multiple, at least until the first release, which will not be this month, maybe next month, we'll see. But there's really no need until the first release. There's no need to create more than one migration because there's nothing to migrate yet. It's going to be the initial deploy. So I'm just going to call it update 1. So I know that this is kind of a temporary. And in the migration, let's add everything that we want. So let's split this to the right. So our first will be add user ID relation to the ticket. Do we want that to be a foreign key? Not necessarily. It's going to be optional, right? Not every response will have the user ID. And our tickets table, ticket responses, that goes from the configuration. I haven't actually tested it yet, meaning what's going to happen if I do change the name of the table. So we'll see. Perhaps this is redundant what I'm doing. We'll test it. So our table will add column which will be user ID. Which will be integer, and we will allow null, and default will be null. And the ticket assignee. So assignee ID or assignee? Let's do assignee ID, because I don't think I've been using assignee yet, right? What is the current migration? Yeah. So we we don't necessarily need that is employee anymore. This one, because if there is a assignee ID, no, assignee goes to ticket. Okay, never mind. So let's make it more redundant here, like this. And update this one. Then the next table is gonna be tickets table. BHR tickets, same thing. Let's copy the name. And we're gonna add column assignee ID, which will be integer and nullable. Next, name to the user. So table users. And it's even selected, so fine. Tables users. We want name, which will be string, and will be, at this point, since we're adding it here, we need to mark it as nullable. It should, because once we add the column, it will default to null, and it cannot be null, so I don't know. We can add a default, but I'm not sure if that's gonna work backwards. So let's just allow it to be null, and our limit, let's give it, I was thinking 80 characters, but let's do 120. That's kind of my default. Status to ticket. Which one's tickets? This is tickets. So let's add status, which will be, oops, integer. And null, we can do null, but we're gonna default it to status new 0. Okay, so this is done. Handle exception, add assignee. This is done, this is done, and this is done. Let's review. Looking good. Let's run migration. Okay. So now what we want to do, since we have all that, actually let's keep this open here. Ticketing is service, blah blah blah. So first let's go to the ticket responses. and add what we added here. So user ID. Now this we could just delete this entity and rebake it, which would be the same, but since we already have it here and we have the custom methods, we just need to allow that. Otherwise, if this is not here accessible, right, if this field is not going to be mentioned here, you will not be able to update that field, like set it. For the same reason, as you can see, there is no ID on it, right? ID is always given by the database. And this is slightly annoying sometimes with testing when you want to add an entity and give it a specific ID for the testing purposes. Instead, you have to just add it and just see what that ID given was. I mean, you could add ID over here and allow it to be modified, to be supplied, right? But we're gonna stick with this. So we have this and property. It's int or null. User. What did I? User ID. Yes. So this is for ticket responses. Yes. Ticket responses only got user ID. Tickets table. Tickets table got a assignee ID and status. Assignee ID and status, and property. So assignee ID is again int or null. And status is also int or null. We'll figure it out with those statuses and stuff. And so that was this, and table users got name. BHR user got name. And property. So that's string or null, because it's nullable. At least for now. Again, we're taking like the least, the path of the least resistance. There. So all this is done. So we just have submit response handle exception, low on priority list. Let's move it down, and submit response for admin. That's what we are after. So we have manage over here. So this is what displays our ticket. And now, again, so when we submit here, now we don't want to make this. Yep. So here's my thought. We could do the same thing over here that we do normally. So if this is post, right, and we do our thing like updates and stuff, and then we fetch everything again and drop it to wherever. So that would work, but there's more than one thing that we want to do with that ticket. So right now, all we can do over here is to write response. But we, on this page, we want to change the status. change the assignee, some other things depending on how many features we're gonna have here. But there's gonna be more than one. So if I just assume that if I post to this endpoint, I'm submitting a response. But what if I'm doing something else? So there's gonna be a new route which will be post, and that'll be ticket slash ticket ID, same as above, slash reply, and that will also be in controller tickets and action reply, and prefix is admin, and the name for our route will be tickets dot reply. Yeah, for the next session we're gonna focus a little bit on unit testing, because now we have like a lot of stuff that we added and not a lot of unit tests. We kind of neglected tests while testing it manually, but that's not the best approach. So that's gonna be the next session. So this is reply, ticketing service. So our ticket ID is retrieved the same way. And pretty much from, we do want to fetch the ticket as well, because we need to supply the ticket to the ticketing service. And here we have submit response, which is user response. I'll rename it later. Shall we do just like admin reply? Do we have any other methods that we prefix like this? We just have submit response over here. Admin reply, that doesn't tell me much, so reply to ticket. Let's do that. So the first argument will be the ticket. Second argument will be the user. So our user, actually that's going to be identity. So we're gonna do user this get request get attribute identity. Maybe I should call it identity so we don't mix it up. So that's the identity interface. So once this is admin reply, so there's got to be someone who's replying. So identity will be required. Message, and that's it for now. We don't have a message. Message will come from this get request get data message. Yeah, so this will be just for post. So here, after we're done, we want to return redirect, and we want the route named ticket manage with the ticket ID ticket ID. Okay, so in either case we're redirecting from here, so there's not going to be a template attached to this route. And this will be easy. So our identity and string, not empty string. So we're gonna fetch table bhr ticket responses. Because we need new responses. So that's gonna be our table. So from table we want new entity. And we want to do table save entity, and for now that'll be it. And our responses, let's open our responses entity. And keep it on the right. And so our ticket ID is ticket ID. Our message is message. Is employee will be true. Name, actually name, that will probably be redundant. So right now, to retrieve the name, since I'm working with an identity interface, I don't have the name. I only have the ID and email and password, or no, I think user ID and email, whatever. Actually, we can even check that. Identity. Yeah, I just have identifier. Nothing really more than that. So we'll leave the name as to do, because we do use it on the ticket page. To retrieve that name, I would have to fetch the user, and you know what? Let's just do that. User entity will be this database fetch table bhr users and get identity, get identifier, and that will be our user, bhr user entity, which means now we can just get it from user entity name. Okay, which right now is going to be null because we just added it, right? So that's our name. Is acknowledged will be false, so we can leave it, or null in this case probably. Or did I put default on it? Maybe I did put default on it. Response ID null. What is the ticket? I just added it. All right, okay, because it, right. No, so this is not needed. So this was created by the bake command, and because it's ticket responses, so it assumes that it's related to ticket entity, but our ticket entity is different. So we have name and user ID. That's the user that responded. So user ID is identity get identifier. This is our entity, and we just save it here. So if this is false, we want to throw what was it? I remember I did create an exception for that. Let's see. Cannot store response. Response cannot be stored. Check logs. That way we don't have to do much debugging. If it doesn't work, it's gonna throw. So that is admin response, admin reply. Let's catch here and this flash error. Let's just flash the message here, and that's it. So this is our post. So now in manage ticket, how do you do that? I forgot. So let's search for form create, type post URL here. So let's just copy that, and that is ticket reply. It should be prefixed by admin. I forgot to do that, and that will be a pain, but we'll get there. And so this is our entity. So we want ticket ID. I copied a bit too much in there. Okay, so this should now, when we render here, if there are issues, we will see them now. Didn't I just log in? How long is the session? Few seconds? Yes, ticket.reply doesn't exist. Oh, tickets reply, but admin tickets reply there. Admin tickets reply. So admin tickets reply. Okay, so now this form routes us to there. But to see if we actually got the response, we need to iterate over responses. So let's do a little card over here. So this will be class card, yeah, just card. Then div class card body, and div card text. And in the card text, we're gonna do the response get message as HTML. Now there needs to be like a date and all that kind of stuff, but for now let's just see the response. So we have the hello over here and awesome over here. Let's give them empty1. Yeah, because we don't need that much. So let's do card body div class card title and oops, response created at, and format year, month, day, hour, minute, second. Now we want to differentiate between the employee and and the client. So I'll think about that, but we need that differentiation. We also now have the assignee, not assignee, the user ID, so we know which user responded. That might not be user that the ticket is assigned to, but we'll figure that out. Now this should work, so let's respond ticket received. Why not? And the moment of truth. Argument third, admin replied to ticket must be a type of string null given, because we didn't get the message, because I don't remember what I called the field here. Name, response instead of message. So refresh. Oh, and actually, since we crapped out on this one, let's yeah, so if empty message and this flash error message cannot be empty, right? And we're gonna return to the ticket, so the same thing, right? So now we have protect. So now when we reply with empty message, there is a missing route. Admin ticket ID reply. So none of the currently connected routes match provided parameters. Okay, so typo. Oh, yes. And what is the problem? We are defaulting to put or patch or something like that. And that's why we can actually check that. We don't have to. So manage tickets. Oh, it is type post. Okay. And the route is definitely found. Yeah, I know what the problem is. Okay, and this is actually an issue. It's an issue of the framework. So if I change it to connect over here, it'll work. Let's do empty. All right, because when you do connect, you can't name the route like this. But I do have post over here. So why does it work here and not work here? Yeah, ticket. Oh, such a moron. It did work. Everything's good. Yeah, message cannot be empty. That's where I made a mistake. Here. Admin ticket manage. Right? That was the issue. Admin ticket, not admin ticket manage. Admin ticket. Yeah. So we did, ticket, admin ticket. That issue that I referred to, that even though it's post, it's still it's for some reason put or something like that. Well, I don't see that issue now, but it was an issue at some point. I guess it has been resolved. So again, we want to submit empty message and just see the flash error. That message cannot be empty. Perfect. So thank you, Raf. And here we have it. All right. And now when the user sees that, I don't know what this is, but we don't care. Ticket and this ticket, and there's a reply from Raf, and you can acknowledge or you can reply. Okay, so what we have is these all are resolved, so let's just remove them and submit response for admin. Well, more or less it's done. At least it's functional. Now, oh, this is not yeah, let's go back to admin my tickets. We have status, so let's go to my underscore tickets. Status, yeah. So now the status is 0, right? Before it was saying NA, now it's saying status 0. So convert statuses to strings. Let's just do a simple map. That's what we need to do. And so on the ticket manage page, div between user and employee responses, right? We want to see that kind of, well, make it more readable. Change, so first we want to do status selector on the ticket manage page. And once we have that, let's do ticket status update action. That's what we need here. And what will be the next thing? Because we don't need to worry about the admin yet, because the customers will only see the customer facing part of the system. So if stuff doesn't work here, it's fine. We need emailing integration, but do we actually need it now? Because we do have to do the email templates, right? For each thing, we want the template to be customizable. So that will be, yeah, that'll be a separate thing. And yeah, let's leave this at the bottom. Add missing tests, and that'll be the main goal for the next session, because we kind of neglected the tests. Let's see if they're still passing. No, and we have two. Could not find fixture app tickets. Why would you need app tickets? There is no VHR tickets. Build routes. This one cannot find tickets either. Oh, because it's the same test. Let's rerun it. Oh, because this is the test for tickets table, which was auto-generated. It's not even added to the repo. Now it is. That's why it failed. So the tests that we have written are all passing. Let's see. Yeah, there's not much that we actually did right. About 30. What do we have now? 32 tests. 30. Because 2 are failing, and actually, well, they're ignored. So this will be the goal for the next session, to get the tests done, convert statuses to strings, allow the user to update status, update or beautify the ticket page, and update ticket status. All right, that should be a nice session, but we'll see. A short one today, because it's Saturday, so I'm kind of tired after the whole week. So a little shorter one. Nevertheless, thank you guys very much for watching. Happy coding, and I shall see you tomorrow.